Quick question, boss. Have you been trying to apply for the Navy Fed Platinum card and you have been denied? If you answered yes to that, I want you to stick around till the end of today's conversation because I want to explain to you 6 reasons why your application is rejected and what to do about that.
One in a million, one in a million, one in a million. You know they're coming up to me, cause I'm just the kind of flower that's stinging in the beat, but the rhythms getting higher. Go, 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 go. One in a million, one in a million, one in a million, one in a million, one in a million.
Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. How are you today? I hope you are doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous, if you were to ask me. If you are doing as great as I am, go grab a cup of coffee, or tea, or vodka, and let's roll. In today's conversation, I want to speak to you about the Navy Fed Platinum card and 6 reasons why your application is rejected and what to do about that. First, let me just give you the overview here, okay? Here's the overview that we need to understand. Number 1, the recency of your account. What do you mean by recency? Recency means that your Navy Fed membership is too new. I mean, you've probably been around less than 6 months. You just got in here, okay? You just got to the party. So you got to chill a little bit more. So if you're too impatient, if you just got a Navy Fed membership and you want to apply for the Navy Fed Platinum card after 3 months, for example, your application might be denied. The reason is that Navy Fed wants to have a little time to sort of monitor your account, be comfortable with your account profile before letting you apply for credit cards, okay? So if your new Navy Fed membership is too new, less than 6 to 9 months, this could be a reason why your application is rejected, okay? And also, maybe the last interaction with Navy Fed credit products was less than 6 months ago. What I'm trying to say is they probably gave you another credit card or a line of credit or a loan less than 6 months ago. So the thing is, you want to space out your credit interactions with Navy Fed at least by 6 months, at least. What I'm trying to say here is if you apply for a credit card, let's say in January, don't apply for another credit card before July or another loan before July, okay? And also, your application could be rejected if you have insufficient credit history with Navy Fed. Okay, so that's what it is. They just want to, again, they want to familiarize themselves to know what kind of borrower, what kind of applicant you are. So it takes time. So the bottom line here is recency means that just be patient. Let time work in your favor. Okay, so what do you do about that? Well, the thing is that you can just wait. If you got into the party, just wait 6 months, 7 months, 9 months, wait. In the meantime, you want to strengthen your relationship with Navy Fed, okay? This is important. So here are the pro tips. Pro tips, when you get into Navy Fed, you are new, just wait for 6 months, and you want to space out your credit interactions with the institution at least 6 months, at least. Number 2, I want to talk to you about cash inflows, because do you know what that means, cash inflows? Cash inflows means that your application could be rejected if you have low cash flows. Is that you? I'm talking to you, uncle. I'm talking to you. You probably have a level of low cash flows with Navy Fed. Grandpa, is that you? No. Grandma, is that you? No. Okay, you're banking, I guess. So you're probably making a lot of money. So the thing is, if you have a low level of cash flows, this could be detrimental to your application, okay? Because again, they're not seeing any cash coming into your account, so they can't really gauge your liquidity level. Your liquidity level is really important. Your ka-ching, what we call your ka-ching rank, okay? Your KR, ka-ching rank. You gotta have some cash. Okay? And if you have no direct deposit with them, this could also be a reason. In other words, you just became a member, and you have a checking account and a savings account, and those 2 accounts have, let's say, a very low level of deposit. You probably maintain like $10 or $25, whatever. If you don't have no direct deposit, it's not good, okay? A direct deposit has something fantastic in it. Direct deposit answers 2 questions. Very important when it comes to applying for a credit, when it comes to helping your credit card application. You want to know those two questions? I bet you want, right? You do. I bet you do. So, number one, a direct deposit tells Navy Fed that you have a job. J-O-B. Yeah, boss. Yeah. So they don't have to verify your employment anymore because they see the direct deposit coming into your account every 2 weeks or every month or every week, right? So they know you have a job. And number two, you know what that is? Number two, they know the amount that you're making. At least if you set up to have full direct deposit with Navy Fed, but at least they know that you have some cash coming in, and you know they have the company where you're working for. Okay, so this is great. The thing that if you have a low pay, if your income is too low, this could be also a reason. Okay, if you have little level of savings, again, as I said before, you can have a savings account and have a tiny ass kind of savings in that account. Okay, like if you had like $100 or whatever, no, you got to have some savings. You got to beef up your net worth. Okay, if you have a weak MPR with Navy Fed, this could be also a reason. So what do you do about that? Money, 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 money. You want to increase your level of cash flows. I'm talking about if you don't have a direct deposit, you want to set direct deposit right now. You want to increase your level of cash flows, cash inflows, I guess. You want to increase your level of savings, okay? And you want to really gradually build your relationship with Navy Fed. You want to buttress, you want to solidify your relationship with the institution. If you have a low score, this could be a reason why your application is denied. When we talk about low score, I'm speaking about two things here. Your FICO score is low and your Navy Fed internal score is low. So if you have a low FICO score, this could be a problem because, again, low FICO score reflects what? Your level of creditworthiness, right? In other words, you have not been financially responsible in the last months, years, okay, or decades for that matter, okay? And a low FICO score is also a reflection of your current situation. In other words, you represent a risk, okay? Now, historically, Navy Fed will approve you even if you have a FICO score of 590 or 580, assuming that you have a strong relationship with them on the banking side, okay? So that's something you need to think about. If you have a low Navy Fed internal score, this could also be adverse to your needs or your goals of getting a Navy Fed Platinum card or any other Platinum card or any other credit card for that matter, not just the Navy Fed Platinum card, okay? So as you probably know that the Navy Fed internal score goes from 100 to 450, right? And the thing is, you really want to try to be in the 300. That's what it is. You want to be in the 300, at least in the 300. Okay, that's where the sweet spot is. 300 to 450, you are really good. For FICO, you want to be in around 700. Okay, and how do you raise either score? Well, it takes time. It's a matter of preparation. It's a matter of planning, right? Nothing happens in this universe randomly. Cause and effect. Cause and effect. Logic, right? You want to actually do things, and you see the result. You see the outcome. Okay, plan it. Decision time, big decision time. Do you currently have a low score, a low Navy Fed internal score and a low FICO score? If you do, what do you do about that? How do you raise those two metrics? How do you actually pay attention to them? Well, it takes time, but the thing is, you want to pay attention to your payment history, very important. You want to pay attention to your credit utilization. I'll talk about that later on. Your credit utilization is very important. The ratio of account that you opened recently versus accounts opened the last 24 months is also very important. If you have insufficient credit, in other words, if your credit history is new, you also have to wait, right? So what are you gonna do about it? Well, you just have to wait and build your credit, and apply it and reapply for the Navy Fed Platinum card. Let's say after 6 months, or if they send you a pre-qualification link. If you have higher utilization, this also could be a problem. What's that? I can't hear you. You want to speak up a little bit? Well, high utilization means you have a high credit utilization ratio. In other words, if you have, let's say, a $10,000 combined credit card utilization, and you probably have a $5,000 limits that's out there. You have 5,000 limits. In other words, you are using 50% of your credit of your credit. It's really, really important to lower your credit utilization. You want to lower your credit utilization. This is important. Did you get that? I'm talking to you, Larry. This is for you. I mean, you can't just walk around and just keep charging things on the card and not really pay it off, right? What? What's that? No. You're right. I mean, credit utilization is what? What's the question? Well, the question is that, okay, so you are asking if I charge a lot on my card during the month, is that okay? Yeah, of course it is okay. As long as you pay it off before the transactional history is reported to the 3 credit bureaus, you're fine. In other words, if you pay your balance in full every month, I don't care if you charge like 100% of the card. Okay, the whole thing is do not leave a high balance at the end of the month, because that's what the credit card issuer, in this case Navy Fed, is reporting to Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax, right? Okay, so because a high CUR could signal trouble in your financial life, that's just what it is. It could also mean that you have too many expenses. In other words, you are living beyond your means. That's what it is, okay? So just paying the minimum due on revolving credit products is not good. Boss, I'm just telling you, I mean, I'm going to tell you straight. Don't let nobody try to fool you or try to lie to you. No, do not keep balances in your credit cards that are above 30% of your limits. Okay, ideally you want to be around 30 to 35%. If you go less, that's even better, right? When we talk about credit utilization ratio, the lower the better. That's what it is. So what is the approach here? The approach here is to constantly try to make all your payments on time all the time, and you want to pay as much of the balance, if not all of the balance. Okay, so what do you do about that? How do you actually combat high utilization? Well, you just have to make sure that you actually spend within your means, you live within your means. So every month you try to pay 80%, 90% of the balance, or even 100% of the balance. Boss, I have something else to tell you. So basically, your Navy Fed Platinum credit card could also be denied. Your application, that is, could be denied if your income is too low. Yeah, I mean, nothing to be ashamed of, though. What? What's that? If your income, what is income? No, well, income doesn't have to be from 9 to 5 job, right? I mean, if you have a job, a regular job, that's fine. But income could come from several sources, right? We have full-time job, a part-time job, seasonal job, and whatnot. If you have a cyclical job, let's say they call you every 3 months for work also, that's fine. As long as you generate your income from a legit source or from legit sources, you are good to go, okay? So, because I'm talking to you here that if your income is low, let's say Navy Fed Platinum credit card, usually their criterion is that they want you to make $18,000 gross every year. Okay, and if you don't make that $18,000 gross every year, let's say you're making 14 or you're making 15 right now, they might deny you. Okay, now I'm not saying that, if you make even lower, they may approve you actually, but the thing is, it takes more time. It takes more preparation. Okay, if you are new in the job, or let's say you have a short employment history, this is also could be detrimental. This could be adverse to your Navy Federal Platinum credit card application goals. Okay, if you have no investments, in other words, Navy Fed doesn't see any IRA in your account profile, this could also be a problem. So what I'm trying to say here is what? Money. If overall your income is too low, your revenue, whatever you generate from several activities, is too low, this could be bad for you. So what do you do about it? Well, you just have to raise your income. Yeah. Either you just get a second job, or you just have a side gig, or you have money coming from investments. You have money coming from the thing is, you want to have multiple sources of income. If possible, right? You can start driving for Uber, delivering for Uber Eats. You can start having some side gigs. You can start doing some side hustle, whatever you have to do. Boss, you have to do it, because the bottom line is you want to increase that income ASAP. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere.
Finest, yo, yo, young Mr. Killer, and call me señorita. Like that, got me dreaming. My legs up on the ceiling. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I know when he come, he ain't never gonna leave. No. Hit it the night run, and that's the way I wanna be. So don't think I'm the one to won't ever be enough.
Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. I'm still having a conversation with you about the Navy Federal Platinum credit card, and here are six let's say reasons why your credit application is being rejected and what to do about that. So I've already given you five reasons, and we want to talk now about number 6, right? So number 6, debt to income. If your debt to income is very high, the debt to income ratio is very high, this could be problematic for you. Okay, what is debt to income? What is the DTI ratio? Now, this metric is important because it signals to Navy Fed that you are either living within your means or living above your means, right? Beyond your means. The whole thing is that debt to income ratio actually calculates your debt payments relative to your income. In other words, are you comfortable? Are you chilling right now when it comes to paying your debts, or are you struggling? Because anytime you get a new line of credit or you get a new debt, this adds up to whatever you currently have. And if your debt to income ratio is already high, adding another line of credit or another debt, another installment loan to that line of DTI ratio, which is already high, it's bad. And the lender knows that. Navy Fed knows that. Okay, they've been studying like credit for like crazy, and they know if a member might be a high risk. Okay, so what is high debt? High debt means that, listen, you probably it's not about the debt itself; it's about the debt payments. Anybody get that? Yeah, because sometimes people just are confused between debt and debt payments. I mean, you could probably have $50,000 personal loan. Okay. But what is your monthly payments? That's what it is, right? Because we all understand that when it comes to loan amortization, for example, you start paying a higher amount. The portion of interest that you pay when you make a monthly payment, the portion of interest is higher at the beginning. And as you you journey your way to the maturity of the loan, the principal portion of the payments becomes higher, right? So what I'm trying to say here is that you need to understand that high debt sometimes comes from the APR that you are being charged. If you have a high APR, this could be a problem. And if you have a low income also, this could be. So the whole equation is, if you have a high DTI, this could mean that you have high debt payments and low income, right? Because that's what it is. And ideally, again, similar to the CUR, you want to be around 30 to 35%. So big decision time. Do you have a high DTI right now? Talk to me about your DTI. And what are you planning to do to actually lower your DTI ratio? This is important. This is going to help you actually boost your chances of being approved for the Navy Fed Platinum credit card. Thank you so much for your attention. In today's conversation, I was talking to you about the Navy Fed Platinum credit card, 6 reasons you are denied, and what to do about that. Okay. And it's really important to know that. So, number 1, recency. Not really good. Number 2, if you have low levels of cash flow. Number 3, you have a low score. Okay. Number 4, you have a high utilization. Number 5, your income is too low. And number 6, you have a debt to income ratio that is also very high. So those things are not really that good for you. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. I will see you next time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.